Hello beautiful people, so today's video consists of a story with a girl I'm not really cool with anymore. We don't longer talk, we're no longer friends. Me and her were really close friends. We were friends since 2nd grade till I turned 16. We stopped being friends because the things she was doing weren't things I would like to do, and she was just turning really fake and talking behind my back. But that's another video. Today's video is about her having a one-night stand. I am not really the protagonist or whatever, the main character of this story time, but I am in it mainly, so let's just get right into the story time. Okay, so this day she decided to come over to my house, and we were getting ready because we were going to a 15 together, and I was curling my hair. I got finished and she got here, and I was like, you know what, I want her to look cute and everything, so I decided to curl her hair as well. And I was doing her hair, and another of my homegirls hits me up and she wants to go to the 15 with us. So we walk to the park, her dad picks us up and takes us all to the 15, and when we get there we notice that it's not really like all poppin' or lit like we thought it would be. So we decide to leave the 15. My homegirl, I'm gonna name her, I don't know what to name her.
2,000 years later.
I'm gonna name her Stephanie. So Stephanie decides that she wants to get picked up by this guy she's texting. So she hits up the other guy that she's been talking to pick her up, and he gets there and she's like, do you want him and me to take you and give you guys a ride to the other 15 that you guys decided to go to? Because it was like walking distance. It was like 5 to 6 minutes. It wasn't really far, but still. And it was starting to sprinkle, and my homegirl Denise decides to be rude, and she's like, oh hell no, like he looks old, like I'm not getting in the car with him. And I'm like, what the hell? And I'm polite, you know, I say hey to him and everything, and she leaves with him. So me and Berenice start walking, and my hair's curly, so you know it started looking like a hot little mess, starting looking wavy instead of curly because you know it's sprinkling outside and everything. So then we get to the other 15 and we just start to like see, and it looks really lit. There's a lot of people. It looks fun. It looks like woo, you know. And everybody's dancing. Some people are outside talking, having fun. And everything's going fine until my homegirl sees her ex-boyfriend. As soon as she sees her ex-boyfriend, her whole face, her whole mood, her whole attitude changes, and now she has a shitty attitude and she's mad. She's like, I saw my ex. And me, being the friend that I am, I'm not really thinking at this point, because now I think back and I think I shouldn't have did this, but I walk up to him and I'm like, are you my homegirl's ex? I don't know why I did that, honestly. And he's like, who's your homegirl? And I'm like, her over there. And he looks at her, he laughs and walks away. So he hadn't even acknowledged her, and she's making a whole big deal. Instead of having fun, she's making him a big deal when he does not care that she's even there. So she starts getting mad. She starts walking by the parking lot. She's like, I want to leave, I want to leave. I'm texting back and forth with my friend Stephanie. She says she's at the baile having fun, you know, if we want to get picked up, but we never end up getting picked up by her. So it's starting to get a little later, and I'm like, girl, I want to go home. And we start walking to my house. And before we get to my house, we pass this corner store that's just on the way home. And I see that there's these two guys coming out the corner store with some beer and some wine coolers. And I'm just playing right now. I'm just being goofy, and I'm like, hey, give me one, you know? And the guy's like, for sure. He gives me a wine cooler, and he's trying to give her one too. And she gets mad, and she's like, let's go. I'm trying to go. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And then the guys were trying to invite us to a kickback, and I'm like, look, no thank you. So we start walking away, and the whole time she's texting. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, I don't even know who she's texting right now. And she's texting somebody for some reason. I don't have no idea who she's texting. And we're getting closer to a park that's by my house, and she says, oh, I'm gonna get picked up. Do you want to go to this house party with so and so? I'm gonna name him Hector. do you want to go to a kickback with Hector? And I'm like, no, I'm not trying to go, you know. Well, it was more of a house party, if anything. So I'm like, no, I'm not really trying to go. You could go if you want to. And we start walking, and he pulls up, and he's like, hey, get in the car. And she's about to get in his car, and he's like, no, 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 my car is full. You're gonna get in my homie's car. And then the homie pulls up, and literally Hector, the one that was gonna take her to the party, he had 3 females in the back seat, 1 in the front seat, like, you know. I'm just like, what the hell? And she gets in the car, like his homie's car, like without even seeing who the homie is. And keep in mind, we know Hector from like when we were in elementary school, so we know him, you know. But still, she doesn't even know who this other guy is, and she gets in the front seat like nothing. And then Hector looks at me, he's like, get in the car, like, let's go. And I'm like, I'm not going. And he thinks, like, he starts laughing, he thinks I'm playing, but I'm dead ass, like, I'm not gonna go. I don't even know you guys, and you guys are like weird. Like, no, I'm not cool and comfortable with this situation. And I'm like, girl, just message me when you're on your way back, be safe, you know. And I start walking home. I go home, and it's starting to get really late, you know. I'm trying to stay up to see if she comes back home. It's starting to get really late. I'm starting to get really worried. So I message Hector, and I'm like, hey, are you guys back from the party, or what time are you guys gonna be back? And he's like, what? She's still not at your house? I'm like, no, what do you mean? He's like, I never ended up going to the party. She ended up going with my friend, you know, like you've seen. And yeah, I never ended up going. And I'm like, what do you mean? So where is she? I'm like, look, if she doesn't come to my house by the morning, I'm gonna call her dad, and I'm gonna tell her she left with you and she never came to my house. Like, I don't need problems. And he's starting to get really annoyed. Like, well, he's not rude or anything. He doesn't really get annoyed, but he's like, what the hell? Like, you know, she did not live with me. She did not get in my car. Don't be telling him that. I'm like, well, what the hell do you want me to tell her dad? Like, she hasn't come home or anything. And it's already like 1 in the morning, and I'm starting to get really worried. So he keeps calling me, and he's like, no, don't do that. Don't tell her dad that she left with me. Like, I don't want no problems. So he's like, come with me to go look for her. And I'm like, no, like, I don't want to go anything. I don't want to go anywhere with you. And he's like, come on, don't be like that. Come on, come on. So he keeps calling me. He keeps telling me to go with him. And I finally accept, because I'm really worried about her at this point. I'm like, where could she be? She never ended up going to the party. She's still not back. It's getting really late. So I meet him up, and I get in the car with him, and we look for her at the guy's house that she went in the car with. And they're both not there. His car's not even there. And we go to this other friend's house that might have a little party. They're not there. We call somebody, and they said, oh, they're a BK or McDonald's or whatever. So we go to that McDonald's. We go to that BK. They're not there. So I'm starting to panic now. I'm like, where the hell could she be? So we end up driving by my neighborhood, kind of, and we see that guy that she went to the party with. And he's like, hey bro, what's up? Did you know Berenice left the party with a whole different guy? Like, we got there, she was chilling with me, and then she leaves. And then, like, there's this guy in a white t-shirt. There's this guy in a white t-shirt. He's like, bro, like, how? I was like, hell nah, like, you brought that bitch to the party, and now she went with another guy. So supposedly she was hanging out with the guy that took her to the party. Then she meets this other guy, and she's making out with him. Like, sucia, like, girl. And then she hangs out with this other guy that she ends up leaving the party with. And the guy in the white t-shirt's like, hell nah, I would have told that bitch something, because you brought her, and that's disrespectful that she goes and hangs out with like 4 different guys. And then the guy that took her, he's like, I don't care, like, she's not my girl. I do not care what she does. So then he's like, yeah, and you know, she stole my phone. She stole my phone. And when he said that, I was like, hell no. Se me cayó la pinche cara de vergüenza. I'm looking over here for her, and she decides to finesse him out his phone. Like, no, girl, don't do that. So I'm just like, oh my gosh. And Hector looks at me like, oh, your homegirl stole a phone. And they're like, oh, are you trying to come to the after party at my house? And then Hector's like, no, I'm busy right now. And then they're like, oh yeah, we could tell. Like, hell no. First of all, I'm just looking for this crazy ass little girl who decided to be a little sucia and leave the party with a random ass person and steal his phone. So anyways, he drops me off, and I'm like, okay, bye. He's like, hit me up, and I'm like, hell to the no. So I go home, and I cannot sleep, but I end up falling asleep, and I hear a knock on my window, and it's this crazy ass girl. And it's 4 in the morning. I go and open the freaking door, and she's like, girl, guess what happened? The party was crazy. The feds ended up coming, so I ended up dipping with a random ass guy who I had a one-night stand with. She reeked like alcohol and some other things because she decided to be a little sucia and have a one-night stand with him, and she didn't even know his name. I was like, girl, like, I was really shook. And that day, I had let her borrow a freaking cute-ass romper. Hell to the no. I said, you could have that. I don't even know. Like, you don't even know the guy's name. You don't know if he has anything or who he's been with. Like, what the fuck? So, yeah. And I told her, girl, he said that you stole his phone. She's like, he let me borrow it to listen to music, but I ended up taking it on accident, and I forgot it in the guy's car that I had a one-night stand with. And I was like, girl, wasn't your night interesting? Well, mine too, looking for your ass. And she was laughing the whole time, taking everything like a joke. And she reeked so bad, like alcohol and some other weird shit. So, like, in the morning, I literally had a headache. I had her take a shower. I opened the windows from my room and I cleaned because no. But that was the story time with my ex-best friend. Decided to be a little thotty McThotty pants, being a little sucia, dirty, going with a random ass guy, having me worried sick, and I'm no longer friends with her. So don't be coming at me in the comments like, oh, why are you talking shit about your best friend? We're no longer friends. She did me so dirty. But that's a story time for another day. I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. If you want story times involving Berenice and me, comment down below because we have a lot of crazy memories together, although we're no longer friends. I have no hate towards her or anything like that, but she clearly has things against me since she did me so dirty. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I clearly changed her name. Her name is not Berenice. But I hope you guys enjoyed this story time, and I hope you guys have a blessed night. I'll see you guys in my next video.